Once upon a time, in the busy town of Enugu, lived a young man named Obiora. Obiora was a fine young man, tall, smart, and blessed with a kind of luck that makes people jealous. His late father left him a mansion in Enugu, cars, lands, and a business that could have made him one of the richest men in the East. But my people, Obiora had one sickness. It was not fever, not cough, not even malaria. It was betting. It didn't start at once. No. Let me take you back to how it all began. Behind Obiora's mansion stood a small shop with a bright yellow signboard that said, Lucky Win Bet House. It was run by a sharp young man named Ikenna, who had a fast smile and even faster words. He was the kind of person who could sell sand to someone living in the desert. Every evening, groups of men gathered there. Mechanics, bus drivers, students, mostly people with empty dreams. They argued about football, pointed at papers, and hoped that one day their ticket would make them rich. At first, Obiora only passed by. He would slow down his car, look at them, shake his head and drive off. Look at them, he would mutter to himself, always wasting time on luck. Lazy people. But one evening, boredom led him there. He was at home, restless and tired. The generator was not working, and NEPA had taken light as usual. The evening was hot, the kind of heat that makes your shirt stick to your back. The noise and excitement from the viewing center filled the air. With nothing else to do, he followed the noise. Oga Obiora, Ikenna called. You too want to win small money today? Obiora laughed. I don't bet. I only came to see what you people are shouting about. Boss, try small, Ikenna said with a wink. Just one match. Who knows? Today might be your lucky day. Obiora thought for a moment. He had nothing else to do. So, for fun, he placed a small bet of 2,000. Barely an hour later, Ikenna jumped up smiling. Oga Obiora, you win 30,000. Obiora's eyes widened. From 2,000? He asked in surprise. Yes, so I told you. That night, Obiora could not sleep. His mind kept replaying the win. 30,000. Just like that. No work, no stress, only luck. The next day, he went again and won 10,000. By the third week, betting had become part of his routine. At first, it looked harmless. He would bet small and win small. But soon, he wanted more. If I can win 30,000 with 2,000, he said to himself. What if I play with 50,000? He started spending hours at the betting shop. He stopped taking his business serious. He would wake up late, skip breakfast, and head straight to Lucky Win Bet House. Ikenna noticed and smiled to himself. He liked people like Obiora. Rich, proud, and very easy to convince. Oga, he would say, the more you stake, the more you gain. And Obiora listened. He began placing big bets. 100,000, 200,000, even more. At first, luck still followed him. Whenever he played, he won. Small today, big tomorrow. He would rush to the bar at night, buy drinks for everyone. The men would hail him, Chairman, the boss himself. They would laugh, clap, and drink until their voices grew hoarse. Obiora loved that feeling. The respect, the attention, the loud cheers that made him feel like a king. People began to call him the betting master. But as we know, money gotten too easily never stays long. Soon, the laughter began to fade. One day he lost. He smiled and said, No wahala sha, na small challenge. Next ticket go enter. The next day, he lost again. He frowned a little, but still smiled. Na bad day. Tomorrow's ticket must definitely click. But tomorrow came and went with more losses. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3. Going on, all losses. Slowly, his luck began to dry like a stream in dry season. The people at the bar no longer held him. He was no longer winning as before, no longer buying drinks for everyone. Some whispered behind him, "He done the four hands, oh." Others laughed when he wasn't looking. Obiora's smile became forced. His pockets grew lighter. And as his losses increased, his thirst for drink grew even stronger. Whenever he lost, he would console himself with bottles of beer, saying, "Even though I no win money today, at least let me win peace of mind." But can peace truly live where addiction sleeps? Not at all. His business began to suffer. The shop that once had many customers was now almost empty. People stopped coming because he no longer had what they wanted. His bank account was empty. But that didn't teach him a lesson. He sold one of his cars to get money to bet. When that finished, he sold another car. Later, he even sold a piece of land his father left for him. See, in this life, greed can blind a man faster than sickness. Kelechi, his childhood friend, saw what was happening and could no longer keep quiet. One evening, he came to Obiora's house and tried to talk sense into him. "Obiora, this is madness. You are throwing not just your resources but your life away. Stop now before it's too late," Kelechi said, his voice filled with worry. But Obiora only smiled, that tired smile of a man still chasing empty dreams. "My guy, don't worry," he said, waving his hand. "I'll win back everything soon. In double fold. Just one lucky ticket and everything will change. Relax." Our people say, the death that will kill a dog doesn't allow it to perceive the smell of shit. And that was Obiora's case. Obiora continued chasing the wind. Each day brought new losses, new regrets, and new excuses. And every time he lost, he would go straight to the bar to drown his pain. He would sit in his usual corner, call for a bottle of beer and a plate of pepper soup. "Let me drown my sorrows," he would say. He would drink until his eyes turned red and forgot his worries, but just for a little while. And just like that, Obiora became both a betting addict and a drunk. He became a shadow of himself and was no longer the cheerful young man everyone knew and admired. His eyes were always red, his clothes rough, and his face carried the look of someone fighting invisible battles. The same man who once bought drinks for everyone now struggled to buy food for himself. Yet, whenever he lost, he would drink, and whenever he drank, he planned for another bet, how to strategize and win the next one, promising himself he would definitely win. Hope kept pulling him back, even when his pockets were empty. It became a painful circle that he couldn't break. One Saturday night, rain fell over Enugu. The streets were wet and the air was thick with the smell of dust and rain. People hurried home to warmth and comfort. But inside the betting shop, Obiora sat quietly, his eyes fixed on the TV screen. His last 2,000 was gone. Across the room, Ikenna was counting the day's returns in silence, his face calm and focused, throwing short glances at Obiora from time to time. "Oga, don't worry. Next week, another match will come," he said to Obiora half-heartedly. Obiora sighed. "I'm tired, Ikenna. I've lost everything. Even my account is dry." "Then stake something else," said Ikenna. "What do I have left?" Ikenna leaned closer. His voice dropped. "Your mansion." "You must be mad," Obiora thundered. "I'm serious," Ikenna continued, not looking at his face. "Bet your house. You will definitely win. I'll make you richer than before. And as you know, the bigger the stake, the bigger the reward." Obiora looked at him in pure rage and hatred. He walked away, hands in his pockets, head bent. His shoes splashed through the puddles. But he didn't go home. He went straight to his favorite spot, the bar. He drank too much that night, more than he usually did. His stomach growled angrily. He had not eaten all day. Hunger and alcohol battled inside him, making his head spin. He opened his wallet. Not even a dime was inside. The sight of the empty wallet broke him. He needed to settle the soldiers fighting in his belly. Slowly, he staggered back to the betting shop. When he got there, Ikenna was still around, arranging peppers. Obiora begged him for a little money to buy a plate of jollof rice. But Ikenna refused. He told him he didn't lend money to people. Then, seeing that Obiora was drunk and weak, Ikenna decided to take advantage of him. He had always admired Obiora's mansion, the beautiful house that stood proudly at the edge of the streets. With a calm voice, he tricked Obiora into signing a document that used the mansion as a bet. Obiora didn't understand what he was signing. His mind was clouded by drink and hunger. Later, Ikenna gave him only 1,500 to go and buy the plate of jollof rice. Obiora thanked him weakly, took the money and staggered out into the night, unaware that he had just lost the last thing he owned. The rain had stopped, but the road was still wet and cold. He walked slowly to the direction of Mama Nkechi's restaurant, his steps unsteady. He was tired, hungry and dizzy. The drink in his system made everything blur. His stomach growled loudly, but his legs felt too heavy to move. Before he could reach the restaurant, he saw an empty stall by the roadside and decided to rest for a moment. He sat down, leaned against the wooden wall, and closed his eyes. Just for a second, he told himself, but exhaustion took over. His head dropped, and he slept off in that deep, careless manner, the way drunks do, right there by the roadside. The night passed slowly. By morning, the sun was already up when he opened his eyes. His mouth was dry, and his head pounded painfully. He groaned and rubbed his temples. He needed a bath. His body smelled of sweat and alcohol. For the first time, he began to think deeply about his life, how he had reached this point. This was not how he imagined his life would turn out. Sleeping by the roadside like a stranger, like a beggar. It broke something inside him. Shame and regret filled his heart. He whispered to himself that he would change, that he would be better. He thought of his late father and sighed. His father would surely be disappointed in the man he had become. He would definitely be rolling over in his grave. With heavy steps, he walked home. But when he reached his compound, he met a big padlock on the gate. He stood there, confused, wondering what was happening. Moments later, Ikenna arrived with two hefty men. Obiora didn't understand why they were there until Ikenna explained that the house now belonged to him. Obiora had unknowingly bet on his mansion when he was drunk. The truth hit him slowly, then all at once. He realized he had signed away everything he owned. He tried to argue that he had been drunk when he signed the documents, but Ikenna calmly brought out the paper with his signature and said coldly, "A signature is a signature." When the men moved closer, telling him to pack his belongings, his strength left him completely. He felt his knees weaken. His mouth went dry. He looked up at the house his father built, the house that carried his childhood memories, his family name, his pride. Now it belonged to someone else, all because of his foolishness and gambling addiction. He fell to the ground and fainted. The story of Obiora spread through the neighborhood. People saw how addiction could destroy a man's life. It had started small but grew until it consumed everything he had. Obiora became a warning, a reminder that unchecked habits can ruin even the strongest.